was 2016. They did this big study on lawyers and discovered that they have really high levels of suicide and
Oh my
alcoholism
God,
and
I didn't
drug
know
abuse,
that.
and it goes on and on, depression. And so I did some courses for lawyers, and then I decided to do something broader for more people, because as much as I hate to say this, the law profession is finally awake to this, but they're
Do they
not.
care? That's the
uh,
thing.
the problem is it runs. It's like, here's the profit motive, and
Yeah.
here's the lifestyle. um
Well, this is what I say about all the corporations that are like, we care about your mental health. We do that. It's like, there's things you could do that actually prove that out. And it's so much lip service because at the end of the day, like everyone's replaceable in corporate.
well, and here's the thing, though, they're not.
To,
But we
I
make
mean,
ourselves replaceable.
from
So
the
this
point of
is
view of
this
a
is
corporation.
okay. So
Yeah.
this is a big part of what I teach, and in my opinion, from the corporation's view, they shouldn't be seeing it that way,
I agree
because
completely.
so let's say you the concept of the art of bending time is it has some really basic stuff first. Okay, so there's like the health stuff. That's low hanging fruit. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first thing, it's one of the first things you want to do. The first thing I do with people is what I call a clarity exercise. And what we're looking for is getting into those things that light you up and give you joy. And you may have to go back to childhood to remember some things. Like, I actually do this, it's kind of like a guided meditation with
Yeah.
people, where you remember moments when you felt really proud, or when you were really excited about something, or you had this really high level of anticipation, or that kind of thing. And then you think about what was going on then. What was it you were so excited about?
Mm.
What was it that you were so proud of? Why were you so happy? Were you with other people? Was it because you'd created something? Was it because you had seen something that was incredibly beautiful or breathtaking or whatever? Was it that you connected with animals? Whatever it was for
Yeah.
you. And what I've realized is that a lot of times, as we go through our educational system, or as we grow up and become adults, right, we lose that.
Going
And we
on.
don't have to. So
That's kind of the point
what
of my first question that I asked you, what you wanted to be when you were a kid, is like
Right.
you
So,
get conditioned almost.
right. And so when you lose that, and you lose that spark, and a lot of us went into jobs where we thought we'd get those things. I became a lawyer because an English teacher told me that to be a great lawyer, you had to be a good writer. And I was a really good writer, so I would be a good lawyer. Right.
Yeah.
And I was an excellent lawyer. But I wasn't getting to write fiction. I wasn't getting to write anything interesting. I wasn't getting to interact with people all that much, because it's a very isolating profession. People don't realize that.
Yeah.
And so, but what I realized is, if you can get sparks of those things, like, I also loved art as a kid. And then I was like, when you're an A student, they tell you you don't have time, right?
Yeah.
You're college bound. So you should take a language, and to take the language, you need to give up music, or you need to give up art, or whatever the thing is. And so I had given up these pieces of me to fit into the box that our society says the smart kids do, right? This is what you're supposed to do. And because I did that, I'd lost the stuff that I really loved. I realized by the time I got into law, I was like shaving off pieces of me all along. And it was this stuff that lit me up and made me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I started doing was I started literally, like, I'd take an art class here and there. Or I started racing sailboats again. I hadn't done that after I got married,
Oh,
because my
wow.
ex hated sailboats. And, there were different things I did that were like, I started doing things that I knew would light me up. And I made a point of getting them in my life, whether it was in work or outside of work. And once you do that and you reignite that ability to have that feeling again, it's hard to get burned out. But you got to actively do it. You proactively chase the sparks, like make them happen. Find ways to put yourself in the position where you get that.
Exactly.
In whatever way that is for you.
It's almost like you have to find the ways to fill your cup so that it doesn't empty for other people or for your job or for whatever, or for your, people that take and don't give.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. And then what you're going to do is I have a character I call Time Suck Ninja. My goal for everybody is that they become a Time Suck Ninja through this process. And we look at what I call internal and external time sucks. So the internal ones are the things like going to your email, wasting your time in your email box, or in your, scrolling your phone, or, doing things that aren't really that productive. But you're doing it because you're either self-soothing, you're bored, or you're procrastinating on something because it's hard and you don't want to do it. Right?
Yeah.
And then the external stuff is like, it could be a lot of things. It could be a boss who comes and drops stuff on your desk at a certain time and it makes it impossible for you to do your job.
That is my life.
And that's often a problem for a lot of people.
Yep.
And there are ways that you can handle that without career suicide, but you have to be tactful about it, right? So you want to make sure, you need to show them that you're doing important things and that you really want to help them. But right now, this is, and in law firms, there's a hierarchy often where there's, senior partners and mid-level partners and junior partners and associates. And, a lot of times it's like the junior and the mid-level partners who are coming around throwing junk on your desk at 5 o'clock on Friday. And a lot of times, if you just keep a list of what you're working on, I did this. It was like literally like my shield. I had a notepad on my desk. I had a list of everybody that I was doing projects for. Here's the person, here's the project, this is when it's due. And I'd have a list of all the stuff that was open that I was working on. And then if somebody came in and said, hey, I need you to do this by Monday or whatever, I'd say, I would love to do that. I'm really not sure how I can fit that in, though. This is what I'm working on. These are the people I'm doing it for. I don't really know what's the most important thing. Yeah. Can you help me out and talk to those people?
Yeah, I mean, that seems so simple, but it is so hard.
It's a very hard thing to do, especially if you're a people pleaser, and especially if you are worried. I mean, sometimes people are worried they'll lose their job because they're not doing the work. But the fact is that if the place is chronically understaffed and the top management doesn't know it, they could probably make more money if they hired more people and they didn't have everybody burned out.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Thank you for listening to this clip from the full episode of Eyes Wide Open. Please like and subscribe for daily clips and new episodes that drop every Tuesday. I appreciate you.